Hello everyone. Before we start today's video, if you could all do me a solid and lightly tap the like button, perhaps share the video about and leave a comment. If you are not subscribed, subscribe as well. It would greatly help this channel. Thank you very much. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's log, subject 220815.9. With there being a somewhat lull in the bombardment, I've docked with the Arcadia. My crew, though, appear to be gone. Dainty also just burped. It's not really sus, but it does raise some questions. You know, in my head I had this thought that perhaps someone could learn their lesson after spending a period of time away from a platform where they built a reputation up as not only being a comedy genius, but also as somebody that is known for regularly pushing fake news, and on top of that being incredibly trigger happy with the block. Now it's gotten to a point where you don't necessarily get blocked, you're instead looked down upon because appeal to popularity fallacy applies here. This in the context of who we're going to discuss today, because yet again they can't seem to resist it, is quite relevant. Engaging in polite discourse, or any discourse whatsoever though, is something that he appears to be doing on the more regular. However, when it comes to actually giving an answer, this individual is channeling the likes of every politician on the planet, and skirting around and not giving you what you are after, and that is an answer. And in the case of who we are talking about today, it is more than likely because they think everything is a loaded question, or you are being led by a highly sophisticated lawyer to some form of entrapment, where you will undoubtedly be well and truly stuck, stuffed, toasted, because you've said the wrong thing, of course. Which is where video is vastly superior, because we can give our opinions more thought. If you have the vocabulary and the acumen to not insert profanity every 5 words. In the context of what we're discussing today and who we're discussing today, that appears to be in short supply. So yes, we're talking about Def Noodles, people. You're all welcome. Because yet again, Def Noodles did a funny on Twitter, and it was so funny. I was belly laughing out of my arsehole yet again because of his comedy masterclass. So Def Noodles on Twitter, having a back and forth with Lacking Cement. You want to educate others on comedy so we can understand your jokes? Genius. It's not the worst idea in the world really, because Def Noodles is, as well known, a gatekeeper for comedy. It's only a joke when he tells you it's a joke, which means he is a comedy genius, a mastermind of what is and is not the funny. So when we struggle to understand this, understandably, he has to swing by to let us know that he has told a funny, because nothing reeks of funny more than having someone tell you that what they've done is tell you a joke. Doesn't take the edge off it in the slightest. Some people, you know, just have a natural gift. They can just tell you a joke and you find it funny. Apparently Def Noodles is so meta, such a Chad, he has to explain the joke as well. Which is why when others make jokes at his expense, they're not funny, because he's a real person with real feelings. Def Noodles retweeted this with, "Go educate yourself at the end of the barrel of a loaded shotgun." Who's holding it, Def Noodles? Just a question. Now this tweet intrigued me because surely this is just a joke. Must be that. Can't be anything malicious or rude or frustrated from somebody who clearly thinks themselves a bit more than what they actually are, i.e. arrogance. Full of oneself, smug. By all means insert all the other relevant words that are in this ballpark as well here. What's interesting about this tweet is it got retweeted a lot by other people and then it became an image thing instead, because, well, Def Noodles later tweeted out, tweets got taken down after getting mass reported, but here's the replay. Now this is interesting. First of all, barely any engagement, but I like the replies. I too love to double down after telling someone to off themselves. Respect for doubling down. Dude, it's the internet. Not everyone is going to get a dark sense of humor. You got to admit it's pretty messed up humor, right? Thing is, Def Noodles doesn't dabble in dark jokes. Everyone knows this. He just hurls obscenities. He has all the intellect of Ethan Ralph after he's done some edibles. Now, others later on tweeted out the thing that really sticks. He said it got flagged down. It's possible because if you get flagged, you were then told to delete the tweet. But as many people pointed out, You deleted the tweet. You deleted it. Which is where I think some people take issue. If you get flagged, you will be told you won't get your account back until you delete the offensive material. It is, for the sake of it, a gotcha, but not as much of a gotcha as many people would like to think. So now onto some replies between Def Noodles and others, along with others' perspectives on this situation. Guardian Venom. Shots fired. I repeat, shots fired on a whole different level. 3 skull emojis. Def Noodles. New profile picture. Because he's funny, everyone. I'm assuming you couldn't be asked to just pay someone to draw something for you because money's a bit tight, even though based on the arm positions of your profile picture at present, you could actually have one positioned in your profile picture. Primark Primink. Bro, log off, what is this? Sound advice, to be honest, because if you are turning into, let's say, an even worse version of others that just engage in arguments on Twitter, like perhaps someone you tried to lolsuit recently, a little break might do you the world of good. Def Noodles though. Imagine coming out of hiding to shit on a loser like Def Noodles. I could never. Primark. This some wild vibes, bro. Accompanying that is an image. Go educate yourself at the end of a barrel of a loaded shotgun. Quote, Old Man Noodles. With many being impressed that Prim made his return just a meme on Def Noodles. Def Noodles at this point in time is becoming such a lolcow, I wouldn't be surprised if there were vast numbers of forum thread pages just covering half the bollocks that comes out of his mouth, or from his Twitter. The guy has made stories up to sensationalize, shat on an entire community that he built himself by covering drama, to then change direction yet still be the exact same drama whore that he was before. But he's above them now. He has now gotten so good at it, being a drama whore but not a drama whore at the same time, that when he then goes into Twitter Spaces to engage in discussions, he doesn't give a straight answer to a question. We know this from Vangelina Skov, who put out a video titled "My conversation with Def Noodles was awful." And she's not lying. It's actually awful. There are discussions about Papa Gut.
Does he think he's done anything wrong? Does he think he's taken his jokes too far in relation to this stuff with Papa Gut, or does he not? It's a pretty simple question, and I didn't load it in any way to be like, you've done terrible things, admit you've done something wrong. I just wanted to know. And his response was, like I said, disappointing. So here it is.
Right, come here then. Let me ask you. So, to be honest with you, this whole thing has just gotten so convoluted, and you're basically, like, not to be rude, but just genuinely, you're kind of talking yourself into circles here with semantics of, like, this is what I meant, and this is my intention, and I'm a comedian, and this is that. So just, like, yes or no, do you actually think that you have done anything at all wrong? Either way, like, just what do you think?
I mean, that's like a huge, broad statement. Do I think I've done anything wrong? Like,
in this situation?
In this situation, I've outlined my intentions. I was joking. I mean, if jokes hurt people's feelings, then that's what it is. If he wants to reach out to me via DMs, I've already said, he wants to come on here, we can have a conversation and talk this out. Like, I just had Kat on. She just explained what she was thinking. Keemstar was on earlier. I'm not opposed to conversation. I'm clearly here. I've been on here for hours at this point. So,
by the way, he carries this on for 5 more minutes of not answering the question, even when it is spelt out for him, and even talking about the t-shirts.
What a twat. Doesn't give much of an answer there that's worthwhile. When asked a simple yes-no question, Def Noodles couldn't give a yes or no answer.
Making a pretty broad and blanket statement. Have you done anything? What's the wrong thing?
Like, do you think you've gone too far with your jokes? In this specific situation with Papa Gut, do you think you took it too far?
All the time. I mean, I've done shows where I tell a joke, people are laughing. Another minute, I tell another joke, and they don't laugh. Then maybe I went too far. I mean, there was one time I was getting heckled.
Apparently, Def Noodles is running for office now, it seems. But back to the tweets. Retweet of "This some wild vibes, bro." Def Noodles. Yup. Underneath, guys, just stop. He's a comedian. And underneath, my life is nothing but a comedy, with Def Noodles painted to resemble a clown, possibly a form of Joker. One can't be sure these days. But my favourite tweet underneath that: is this supposed to be intentionally the edgy antithesis of humour, or just a fragile 37-year-old man desperately trying to dodge criticism by insinuating violence, therefore becoming the edgelord final boss? For those who don't know, Def Noodles is older than me, which surprised me. until I saw pictures of his body and realised actually that makes perfect sense. Somebody spends a lot more time making their face look youthful than the rest of their body. Your hands betray you. The vast majority of those who have seen this tweet or engaged with this tweet have said that this is definitely not okay, because you are, in effect, telling someone to off themselves, to unalive themselves. That is how it comes across, and I fully understand a joke. But considering what you have accused others of saying about yourself, it is somewhat strange that you now use the very language you have chastised before. Almost like it's only okay when you do it. Oh, and while you deleted the original tweet that started all of this, it's archived. It's going nowhere. It's right here, in fact. What started it was this. Nothing more. How incredibly tragic for you, Mr. Deaf Noodles. And I took the liberty of watching the Alice Hamilton CEX criminal special you've linked in the retweet, the original retweet. I get that there are ways to make stuff like that funny. I just didn't find it personally funny. But that might be my own bias surfacing, so I may have gone into it not wanting to laugh. Or it could just be that the jokes didn't work as well as you might imply by calling it genius. So how is that midlife crisis working out for you anyway? I know you've recently started indicating you want to have people fly out to do discussions with you, but if only they have a certain sub count. Now that's fascinating. I take no issue with it really, because it's your business. You do what you think is best for business. I do find it strange though, because a lot of your main detractors get vast amounts of views, more than you in fact, not me, but others, but their sub count is under 250k. Clout is one thing, but a name sometimes resonates better with an audience. You yourself would know that, because you used to be that. Someone who got more views than they did subs. Not so much these days. I wonder why.